Good morning, I'm Seth. Thanks for stopping by Moose Run Farm. We're going to take you along as we do some pasturing of the animals today. But before we get to that, we just lost power. I guess it was secondary to a car accident along the main line in. So I'm going to hook up the generator because it'll probably be a little while. And when the power goes out, the electric fence goes down, and it just makes me a little nervous. Here, main is off, this comes up. Definitely not the weather you expect to have a power issue. But that's the way it goes. Let's start by going to move the turkeys. Hey turkeys. Hey turkeys. So the turkeys go through about 7 gallons of grain a day if they're not on new pasture. If they are on new pasture, they go through about 5 gallons a day. And there's just under 50 of them. There's 48 or something. So what we find is when we move them to new pasture, it goes from 7 gallons to 5 gallons. And then over the next, 3 or 4 days, it stacks back up to needing 7 gallons. So there's a high incentive to moving them regularly. I think it really makes them healthy, happy birds. And it also cuts down on their feed bill. So the more we move them, the better. So we use this mobile coop and then poultry netting. Obviously, the best system for large flocks of turkeys, 50 or more turkeys, would be some sort of high tunnel that you pull along. But there's 2 reasons we don't do that. One, the ground is so uneven here that there's always a low point where a predator could get under a high tunnel. And then also we like to pasture them around the Christmas trees. The poultry netting allows us to move them around the trees to different sections, and it works out really well for us. So let's just take a look at the pasture they're coming off of here. You can see a lot of the nitrogen-rich droppings. You can see that they've mowed down a lot of the grasses and growth. And then the other thing that I like about them is they tend to clean out under the trees a little bit. They'll find some that they like to dig under. I find that loosening the soil around the base of the tree seems to really help the tree absorb water and grow. I have not found any negatives to it. I have not found it to weaken the tree or the root at all. I think it's just a positive thing. So I'm going to take their fence, pick it up from here, and move it over these trees over here. I'm going to get one more positioning of their fence with their coop being here, and then next time I'll have them shift their coop over into this area to get the rest of the field over here. Couple notes about doing temporary fencing. Just things we've learned. First, we do 2 layers of the temporary fencing. We do a 48-inch tall one and then a shorter one. I think this is 40 or 36 or something. But the turkeys are far from home right now, and even though it's electrified, turkeys have an unfortunate habit of laying down against the fence. And oftentimes predators can injure them or try to get them through the fence, even though the fence they're laying against is electrified. So what we found to combat that, especially when the turkeys are farther from home and Coda, the border collie's not running around, is we do 2 layers. This one keeps the predators away from the edge of the fence, and then the turkeys are free to lay against the fence if they want on the inside one. Second tip, if you have to carry and place poultry netting like this, this is one made by Premier One. It's a good poultry netting. It can be really frustrating. It's best to do it with 2 people, have someone to pull and place stakes and the other person to carry the bundle. But if you have to do it by yourself, how you pick up the fence makes all the difference. Start at one end, pull a stake out, grab it around the middle of the stake, and then hold it with the ground end up. And each subsequent one you pull out, put in the bundle with the ground end up like this. I find that if you don't do that, the end of the net will fall and it'll inevitably tangle around these U-shaped pieces, and it becomes so difficult to untangle. It is one of the most frustrating things. So as you pull them out, hold them upside down like this, and if you're not strong enough to hold the whole bundle, rest it on your shoulder and just pull each one out and stack it up like this. The other word of advice, if you carry a knife or anything that has a hook on it on the outside of your pocket, I carry this little Milwaukee utility knife everywhere, and it has this little hook. Take it and put it inside your pocket. Anything on your clothing, any sort of holster or a clip like that, it'll end up snagging these little strands every step you take. You know, you'd think to yourself, hey, if I set out to try and do that, I wouldn't be able to do it. You know, if I set out to catch my pocket on every single strand, you know, I couldn't do it if I tried, but it'll happen, and it just will make it a lot more unpleasant and take a lot longer. So those are my tips for poultry netting. It can be hard to know how much of a pen you can make for them using each strand of poultry netting. The more you do it, the more familiar with it you become. But as a general rule, what I do is I do the poultry netting in front of their mobile coop first. Then I do my downwind leg away from the coop, and that's usually about six to eight posts. And then I do an approximate base, you know, out widthwise, and then I just lay the stakes out. I don't put them in the ground, and I come and I connect the end so it makes a complete rectangle, because you need that end to come all the way back to the coop. The other side of the downwind leg can kind of fluctuate. It can be a little shorter, you know, you can bring the base up, or it could be longer and you can make it a little wider. So I do in front of the coop, downwind, an approximate base, then I come and I connect it to the coop and I adjust that last leg to make it all tight and stand upright. Now comes the fun part. You get to let the turkeys out and put in these grazing stakes, and that's easy. I'm gonna clip the mic to a turkey here so you can hear what they sound like. Hey buddy, got anything to say? Well, they look pretty happy, so you guys be good. Little turkey fight there. WWE has nothing on Moose Run Farm. Usually they don't hurt each other too much at this age, so I'll let them just fight it out. We're definitely getting to the time of year where I like to have them signed up to be sold. So we'll probably start pushing that pretty soon here. But we got about another 6 or 7 weeks to go with the turkeys. So if you're local and if you're interested in a pasture-raised turkey, fresh for Thanksgiving, just reach out to us through mooserunfarm.com. Now we're doing the chickens. We just rolled their coop down a little bit. We're gonna do this next section down here. And I had to reconnect their water line, so I just drain. You can hear the air come out of it. It would work fine without draining the air out, but it just keeps the valve in their automatic water from hissing, and it kind of scares them when it does that. So, new pasture for the chickens. So we do a single strand for the laying hens, and that's because Coda here patrols the borders of it like it's her full-time job. And so nothing's gonna get in at them during the daylight hours, and she's out here most days. So, and they tend to be closer to home, so predators are just less of a concern. It is extremely dry here. I wish I could show you great regeneration and new growth behind the animals, each group we move. And most years I could, but this year I can't. And I don't think that's anything we're doing wrong. I think it's just a function of the fact that it's been incredibly dry. We're now in a severe drought. And it's October tomorrow, so I don't really foresee that turning around this year. I think what we see for grass growth is what we get, and better luck next spring. Hello, boys. Calvin, Briggs, Kane, Bandit, Blaze, Clover. last year at this time, we were still doing kind of a rotational grazing type model, moving them every couple days. This year, unfortunately, the regrowth is just not there. So we're running out of pasture pretty quick for them, and I think within the next, probably at the most 2 weeks, they're going to end up eating hay for the rest of the winter. But until then, I just give them a big rectangle of pasture that they have been on previously that has regrown some, and then what we would have tried to get some more cutting of hay off of this fall. And I just give them the whole thing, leave them there for 3 days or so, and then move them to the next big rectangle of grass. So we've got a couple more big blocks of that to do, and then they'll come down and go through our fields, and then at the end of that, we're pretty much done. But in keeping with that, I've been moving their square bale feeder along with them. I've been feeding off some square bales I bought from a friend of mine along with their pasture, so at least I know they're not going to be hungry out here. Just picking up stakes here so we can move them over, just to give you an idea of what things look like. You can tell just how dry and crunchy everything is, and this obviously is where we're taking the boys off of, but honestly what we're putting them onto is really not that much taller. It's unprecedented. It's like nothing I remember in my life. Of course, it's possible it happened before I had animals and really cared about trying to grow things and feed them and water them. Having animals definitely gives you a new perspective, more heightened awareness, but it is record-breaking drought and warmth. That's the other side of it is, tomorrow's October 1st. I'm in short sleeves and I'm plenty warm. It's mid to high 70s right now. It's just kind of like the summer that never ends. Well, there's some growth. Okay. Here's their new section. Bring them back up here and see if they can be happy for a couple more days. Come on, boys. Come on, you two. Let's go. Good boys. Come on, boys. Come on, boys. Always the last one. Come on. Come on. Come on, boys. Come on. Good boys. Come on. Let's go. Come on. They all seem happy enough. I love doing the pasturing. I'm really thankful that we have the opportunity to raise animals on pasture like this. And although I'd love to have permanent laneways that we just divide off, or high tunnels, or things that make the labor easier, I'm just happy to be out here and thankful to be doing it on any level at all. It does take some time though. It's about 1 o'clock and it's all I've done today. So it's taken, all morning to get the groups of animals each moved. So it's labor intensive, but I believe it pays off in the quality of what we produce and in the health of our animals. Moose Run Farm is going to stay pasture raised going forward. This is one of 2 hens that was given to me by a friend. So I want him to see that she's doing well. Andrew, she's happy and loving pastures here on Moose Run Farm, aren't you? Thanks for liking, thanks for subscribing to Moose Run Farm. It does help us to grow the channel. The next video is going to be trying to do some late season haying in Unity, and I say trying because I've never tried to hay this late, so we'll see what happens. But please be sure to check back soon to see that video. Take care everybody, and I hope you're having a great fall so far. See you on the next one.